A mayoral candidate being challenged, the saga surrounding embattled South suburban politician Tiffany.
The political turmoil in Dalton, Illinois has reached unprecedented levels, placing Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the center of a real-life political drama. From township shutdowns to mounting lawsuits, federal investigations, and relentless media scrutiny, Henyard's leadership has become synonymous with controversy. Each passing day reveals new layers of alleged mismanagement, corruption, and misconduct, leaving many questioning how the situation spiraled so drastically out of control. Henyard's tenure has been marred by power struggles, controversial decisions, and what critics call a failure to govern effectively. Federal authorities are reportedly investigating accusations of financial mismanagement, misuse of public funds, and retaliatory actions against political adversaries. These allegations have only deepened public distrust in her administration, fueling concerns about the township's leadership. The growing number of lawsuits against Dalton's government further compounds the crisis. Many of these legal battles stem from allegations of unlawful practices, harassment, and abuse of power, painting a troubling picture of the township's governing culture. One of Henyard's most contentious decisions, the abrupt shutdown of township services, has sparked widespread outrage. Residents feel abandoned and neglected, as essential services they rely on have been disrupted without clear justification. This decision has only exacerbated the community's frustration and resentment. Public sentiment toward Henyard has plummeted, with critics arguing that she appears more focused on consolidating power than addressing the town's pressing issues. Meanwhile, media coverage continues to fuel the fire, ensuring that each new scandal remains in the public eye. The unrelenting stream of negative press has solidified the perception of an administration in chaos, struggling to maintain credibility. Supporters of Henyard attempt to shift the narrative, arguing that the controversy surrounding her leadership is a reflection of deeper systemic problems within Dalton's government. However, her critics maintain that unchecked ambition and poor decision-making have led to the town's current crisis. Reports of intimidation tactics, secretive dealings, and questionable alliances have only added to the growing list of grievances against her administration. The ongoing conflict has deeply divided Dalton, with residents and officials split into opposing factions, some staunchly defending Henyard, while others demand her resignation. The escalating tensions have created an environment of political instability, making it difficult for the township to function effectively. As the controversy continues to unfold, one pressing question remains: how did it get this bad? Dalton's residents are left grappling with the fallout, seeking accountability and solutions for their struggling community. While some hope for change, others worry that the damage done to the town's governance may take years to repair. For now, the political spectacle surrounding Tiffany Henyard shows no signs of ending, with each day bringing new developments and further uncertainty for the future of Dalton.
Henyard spokespeople today and trustees who are calling it a ploy.
What's going on?
On Wednesday morning, residents and employees of Thornton Township were met with an unexpected shock. The township building was locked, with a sign announcing its abrupt closure. Confusion and frustration quickly spread as essential services came to a standstill. Those seeking assistance, including individuals applying for food programs, waited in vain for employees who never arrived. With no prior notice, many were left scrambling for answers, including the township assessor, who, like everyone else, had no information about the situation. Among the concerned residents was a man urgently trying to submit paperwork for food assistance. His frustration mirrored the sentiments of many as he stood before the locked doors, wondering what would happen next. With the building's lights turned off and no staff present, the sense of uncertainty deepened. No further details were provided beyond the posted sign, leaving residents and employees in limbo. The cause of the shutdown stems from an escalating political deadlock that has left the township unable to function. The township board has been unable to reach a quorum due to the continued absence of two trustees, Carmen Carlisle and Chris Gonzalez. Mayor Tiffany Henyard asserts that their absence is a deliberate move to prevent her from appointing a replacement for a vacant trustee seat, which would give her a tie-breaking vote. The standoff has now escalated into a governance crisis, with far-reaching implications for the community. Without a quorum, the township cannot renew its insurance, a crucial step for maintaining vital services and securing employees' jobs. The potential discontinuation of key programs, such as senior transport and after-school initiatives, has heightened community concerns. These services are lifelines for vulnerable groups, including children and seniors who rely heavily on them for daily support. The prospect of more than 100 employees facing layoffs has only added to the anxiety surrounding the shutdown, amplifying calls for an immediate resolution. Mayor Henyard has emphasized the dire consequences of the ongoing stalemate, warning that, without action, the township's ability to function will remain in jeopardy. The paralysis of governance has placed the community's well-being at risk, raising serious concerns about accountability and leadership. The uncertainty surrounding the closure has left many wondering why political disputes have taken precedence over the needs of the residents. As tensions rise, the township finds itself under mounting criticism for allowing the situation to deteriorate. To this point, the lack of communication has only fueled frustration, with no clear answers on when the closure will end or how services will be restored. The shutdown has exposed deeper governance issues within Thornton Township, raising concerns about leadership failures and the prioritization of political interests over public welfare. For now, residents and employees remain in the dark, uncertain of what lies ahead. The locked doors and empty offices stand as stark symbols of a township paralyzed by division, leaving the community bracing for the unknown. As the crisis unfolds, the demand for accountability and resolution grows louder, with many hoping that township leadership can overcome its impasse before the damage becomes irreversible.
Are off behind me. The doors are locked here, and there's a sign on the building right now that says it's closed. For how long? Neither residents nor...
The insurance scandal surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration has intensified public scrutiny, raising serious concerns about financial transparency and integrity in Dalton. Critics argue that years of unchecked spending and questionable financial decisions under Henyard's leadership have exacerbated the township's financial struggles. Many residents are left wondering where their tax dollars have gone, as accusations of mismanagement and extravagant expenditures continue to surface. Among the most notorious of these questionable purchases is a series of unexplained Amazon transactions totaling $40,000. This revelation has become a rallying cry for those demanding accountability, reinforcing the growing sentiment that Dalton's leadership lacks fiscal responsibility. During a recent town hall meeting, tensions reached a boiling point when a frustrated resident directly asked, "What else are they hiding?" A question that resonated deeply within a community increasingly disillusioned with its government. Henyard has consistently pushed back against the allegations, asserting that her administration inherited a financial disaster from previous leadership and has been working tirelessly to address these long-standing issues. She has framed her efforts as those of a reformer determined to correct years of fiscal neglect and poor financial planning. However, a limited audit of Dalton's finances has only fueled skepticism, revealing additional questionable purchases. These findings have reinforced the argument that Henyard's administration has failed to provide the oversight necessary to ensure responsible financial management. Supporters of Henyard argue that she is facing an uphill battle, contending with financial difficulties that predate her tenure. They believe that much of the township's economic troubles were inevitable given its existing financial challenges. However, detractors counter that her administration's spending habits and lack of transparency have only deepened the crisis. The ongoing insurance scandal, in particular, has become emblematic of broader governance failures, exposing an inability to meet essential administrative deadlines due to ongoing political gridlock within the township's board. The failure to renew crucial insurance policies has left employees and residents at risk, further fueling concerns about whether Dalton's leadership is truly capable of managing its financial obligations effectively. The consequences of these financial missteps are deeply personal for many Dalton residents. Township employees are now faced with the possibility of layoffs, while critical programs and services, including senior transportation and after-school programs, hang in the balance. These disruptions directly impact some of the community's most vulnerable populations, underscoring the tangible cost of administrative failings. The discontinuation of such services serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of financial mismanagement, as residents are left struggling to navigate the uncertainty surrounding their local government. Critics have also scrutinized Henyard's handling of previous controversies, arguing that her leadership style often involves deflecting blame rather than accepting responsibility. Many residents are growing increasingly frustrated with what they perceive as an unwillingness to take accountability for the township's ongoing issues. The infamous $40,000 Amazon purchases, in particular, have become a symbol of what some see as a lack of fiscal discipline. As essential services continue to be threatened, residents are left questioning why such expenditures went unaccounted for, while their township struggles to maintain even the most basic government functions. This financial turmoil has created a sharp divide between Henyard's supporters and her critics, heightening political tensions within the community. The ongoing deadlock within the township's administration has made it difficult to find viable solutions to the crisis, and the continued lack of financial transparency has only exacerbated residents' frustrations. While Henyard's defenders argue that she is working to implement long-overdue reforms, her skeptics view these claims as insufficient justification for the current state of affairs. Many believe that her administration's failure to prioritize fiscal responsibility is a significant factor contributing to Dalton's ongoing economic struggles. The insurance scandal, in particular, has come to symbolize the deeper governance issues facing the township. This is not merely a budgeting error, but a reflection of what many residents see as systemic mismanagement. The failure to secure necessary insurance policies has placed Dalton in a precarious position, raising questions about the administration's ability to perform basic governmental functions. As confidence in Henyard's leadership continues to erode, residents are left to wonder whether her administration is capable of navigating the township out of financial peril. Each new revelation in the ongoing scandal seems to reinforce demands for greater accountability and transparency, with many residents growing increasingly concerned about the township's future. Henyard's leadership style is increasingly viewed as opaque and unresponsive to the community's concerns. Residents already grappling with mounting debt and service disruptions feel left in the dark regarding the township's financial health. The findings from recent audits, coupled with the fallout from the insurance scandal, have only reinforced the perception that Dalton is caught in a cycle of fiscal mismanagement and political dysfunction. Many residents are frustrated by what they see as a lack of clear communication from the administration, further eroding trust in local government. While Henyard has continued to argue for patience and understanding as she tackles the township's financial problems, critics insist that the ongoing scandals highlight a broader pattern of neglect and poor decision-making. Calls for change and increased transparency are growing louder, with many residents demanding that their elected officials provide clearer explanations and tangible solutions to the township's fiscal woes. Moving forward, the pressure on Henyard to address both the immediate crisis and the long-term financial health of Dalton will only intensify. Residents are looking for decisive action, not just rhetoric. The expectation is not only that Henyard's administration will resolve the insurance scandal, but also that it will take meaningful steps to ensure greater fiscal accountability in the future. The continued lack of transparency and the persistence of financial mismanagement have only deepened public skepticism. If Henyard is to restore trust in her leadership, she must demonstrate a commitment to responsible governance and take concrete steps toward financial stability. Until then, the demands for accountability and reform will only grow stronger, with residents remaining vigilant in their calls for a government that truly prioritizes their interests.
Government to provide a way, provide services, and we're not doing that because they're stalling government, gridlocking it, because they can't.
Tensions in Thornton Township have escalated as controversy engulfs Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration, with allegations of financial mismanagement, power struggles, and political maneuvering creating a deeply unstable environment. Residents and township employees alike find themselves caught in an ongoing crisis, with essential services at risk and uncertainty surrounding the township's future. Anonymous employees describe working under Henyard's leadership as chaotic, with one stating that residents feel like pawns in a political chess game as critical programs suffer disruptions, and job security remains uncertain. The township's failure to renew its insurance has exacerbated frustrations, leading to interruptions in vital services that many residents depend on. Programs such as senior transportation and after-school initiatives remain in jeopardy, heightening concerns about the administration's ability to govern effectively. This issue has fueled suspicions that Henyard is leveraging the crisis for political gain, with trustees Carmen Carlisle and Chris Gonzalez accusing her of using the insurance debacle as a means to push for the appointment of a trustee aligned with her. Carlisle dismissed Henyard's tactics as high school behavior, arguing that the insurance problem could have been resolved months ago, but is now being exploited to consolidate power on the board. Gonzalez echoed these concerns, suggesting that Henyard's actions are a calculated effort to maintain control over township governance, particularly with elections on the horizon. Both trustees contend that linking the insurance issue to political appointments has deepened gridlock, further hindering the township's ability to function. Critics argue that Henyard's administration has prioritized personal influence over addressing pressing issues, leading to an erosion of public trust. Allegations of financial mismanagement have intensified these concerns, with reports highlighting extravagant expenditures, including over $100,000 in taxpayer-funded travel and entertainment. Among the most controversial expenses was an $85,000 concert that was poorly attended, raising questions about the wisdom of such spending amid financial difficulties. Further scrutiny has fallen on Henyard's cancer charity, which has allegedly failed to account for donations, sparking concerns about transparency and fiscal responsibility. Reports indicate that federal agencies, including the FBI, are investigating the management of township funds, particularly regarding programs funded by state grants. This investigation has only added to the growing criticism surrounding her administration and amplified doubts about her stewardship of public resources. Legal disputes have further tarnished Henyard's reputation. After being excluded from the ballot for the upcoming township supervisor election, she filed a lawsuit against the Thornton Township Democrats, alleging voter suppression and claiming that her supporters were unfairly locked out of the nomination process. In a dramatic press conference held in freezing conditions, Henyard likened her struggle to that of civil rights icon Rosa Parks, calling the caucus a hostile takeover and vowing to fight what she described as a politically motivated effort to silence her. However, her comparison was widely dismissed as exaggerated, with State Senator Napoleon Harris, the township's Democratic Party chair, categorically denying her claims. Harris's lawyer argued that caucuses operate under their own rules, suggesting that Henyard's lawsuit lacked merit. As these controversies mount, frustration among township residents has grown. Many are calling for new leadership that prioritizes the community over personal ambitions. One resident voiced their concerns bluntly. "We need action from someone who works for the people, not for themselves." Critics continue to highlight Henyard's perceived failures, questioning whether she has lost the trust of the community she was elected to serve. The ongoing turmoil has left township employees and residents in a state of anxiety, with essential services hanging in the balance. The insurance crisis, unresolved financial concerns, and deepening political divisions have created an atmosphere of uncertainty. Vital programs that serve vulnerable populations remain at risk, while staff layoffs loom as a growing possibility. With no clear resolution in sight, the township's governance appears to be teetering on the edge of collapse. Henyard's insistence on linking crucial issues to politically advantageous outcomes, combined with the growing list of controversies surrounding her tenure, has led many to question whether she can restore trust and lead Thornton Township out of crisis, or whether the increasing calls for change will ultimately force her from power.